What's going on, everybody? Universal Fragrances here. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend so far. It is Sunday, the day that I'm posting this, so we're all caught up for the fragrance rotation videos. So we're actually on the proper week this time. We're going to start it off Monday. Unique Luxury. Chocolate makes me happy. One of my favorite gourmand fragrances. This is very much chocolate, coffee, a little bit of spice and frankincense. Very resiny and gourmand. It's got some citrus and spice in there as well. So it's not overly sweet. If you like Mashumara, this is not quite as sweet, but it's a little bit gourmand in terms of the chocolate and the coffee notes that are in there. Just very well balanced. One of my favorite gourmands. Actually has good development as well. And at 35% oil concentration, hard to go wrong for the price. Absolutely one of my favorites for that category. And I followed it up on Tuesday with Boccanera from Orto Parisi. Similar chocolate fragrance, not as sweet, not as gourmand. It doesn't have coffee in there either. Some spice and woods. So this has always kind of reminded me of like a mole sauce. You know, you get the spice and the chocolate in there. I believe it has a little bit of tonka bean and vanilla for that kind of richness and sweetness as well. Has chocolate and cocoa in there, so it has like two types of chocolate notes. But not quite as sweet or as gourmand as Unique Luxury, but this smells more like a masculine proper perfume with a little bit of that chocolate and gourmand note in it. So it's not as strong as Unique Luxury in terms of how gourmand it is, but it smells a little bit more like a proper masculine cologne with a little bit of a hint of that in there. So Wednesday, don't wear this a lot, especially this time of year. Again, just wanted to change it up. Have been wearing some more light and fresh things, especially because it's summertime. We've had some overcast and cooler weather here because of the storms. So I just figured I'd take advantage of it because it's probably going to be till November to where I can start wearing any of this type of stuff for any type of regularity. So Dubai Amber from Bond number 9 on Wednesday. Very strong fragrance. One of the strongest fragrances, maybe not in terms of oil concentration, of course, but in terms of the ingredients that are in there, it's very syrupy with the raspberry, vanilla. It's got rose in there, and then you have different side of it, you got like a really kind of skanky and fecal type of like civet musk note in there, but with the sweetness, it kind of works. Like it's just a really good fragrance in terms of like the richness and the construction and how unique it is. But for me, I'm still not decided on whether I'm gonna buy a full bottle or not. I think just for collection purposes and for cooler weather, I would like to, because I do like the fragrance, but especially in warm weather, you really got to be careful on how much of this you spray, because it is a very strong fragrance with the incense, oud, and of course the civet musk note in there, and very sweet with the raspberry and vanilla, almost like a syrupy candy sweetness in there, and saffron and rose. It's got a lot of stuff in there if you look at the notes of Dubai Amber. So very well done on them. Just an extremely strong fragrance, so it depends on what time of the year you wear it. Just make sure you spray it carefully. Then I got one of my favorites from the house at Bond number 9. You guys know if you follow the channel. Riverside Drive. One of my favorite fragrances, really for any occasion, but especially dressing up, warm weather, date night possibly. You get a lot of compliments on this. Juicy pineapple, has rose, lily of the valley, some oak moss notes in there as well. It's just a very well balanced fragrance, kind of a green blue fragrance, and man, I've always loved Riverside Drive. I still have about half of my older bottle as well. Newer one's getting a little work in, and it's very tough to tell, but you can start to see it. It was very clear when I first got it about a year ago, and now it's starting to get a very slight yellow tint to it. So it is starting to mature pretty well. Now, on Friday, we had Ether from the house of Xerjoff. Again, another one I probably wouldn't normally wear this time of year. Pretty strong, definitely a very strong woody oud, caramel. It's got pine. It's got some very nice citrus and pine notes at the top. So again, a little bit like Dubai Amber, even though they're very different fragrances. Kind of a bright, sweet, natural outdoor type of opening on the top notes, but you get a lot of that oud and wood note down in the base notes as well. So one of my favorite fragrances, kind of goes in that category a little bit with like Teroni and Silver Oud, even though they're all very different. They have a little bit something weird about them that smells good that you just can't put your finger on the way it's blended. Of course, this does have a lot of oud in there, so maybe it's a little bit of that. But man, I've always loved Xerjoff Ether, and I don't know if I'll be able to wear it again until maybe November, December. So I'm glad I wore it when I could while it was somewhat cool out. Then Saturday, again, One of my favorite fragrances from the House of Bond number 9. I feel I say this about a lot of them, but Westside. It's like a boozy, honey, vanilla birthday cake kind of deal going on with rose. It's floral. Definitely more of a feminine fragrance, but I have absolutely learned to love this. I remember when I first got it years and years ago from some older samples. The bottle's more recent, and thankfully it's just as good, if not better, than the samples that I remember having, you know, when it first came out around 2011, 2012. It may have been a little before that, but I got some of the original samples from this. And that was one of the first like unisex fragrances that I thought was too feminine for me to wear, where I kept getting compliments from other people. Even my girlfriend at the time really enjoyed it. So that kind of gave me the confidence to wear a little bit more unisex fragrances. And Westside for me will always have a special place in my heart. Really, really good rose fragrance too. And then Sweetie Oud from Roja. One of my favorite oud fragrances because it's like a gourmand oud. Got some frankincense in there, but the coolest thing about this fragrance here is it has a very distinct toasty kind of pastry or croissant, like accord to it. Kind of smells like a fresh baked pastry or croissant that's been just slightly overcooked almost. You really get a lot of those baked notes that are not overly sweet. It's not like a cake or a donut or anything, but more, you know, like I said, just like a very nice pastry, croissant type of thing. Very unique fragrance, great longevity. I believe they only make this in 50 ml, so I'm glad I grabbed it when I did. But really unique and good fragrance from Roja Parfums. A lot of skilled perfumery went into this. Great longevity. It's got some resiny base notes in there as well. It's got some very interesting notes in it. So I'll definitely look at some of those notes if you're interested in purchasing this, because it does have a lot in there. And it's not a true gourmand fragrance, but it's very different. And in my opinion, still a little bit gourmand. So guys, thank you for watching the video. I love doing these fragrance rotations. As always, you know, I'm pretty much drinking a whiskey when we do this. So today I'm drinking Aoud. Been drinking this, it's on batch 77, and I've been drinking this since probably 18, 19, 21 for those batch numbers. So I've been drinking this one for years and years and years. Really good whiskey. If you like sherry whiskey, it's one of the best ones out there. It's cask strength. Aoud is one of my favorite distilleries. Unfortunately, a lot of their offerings are chill filtered and bottled at a very low ABV. This one is bottled at 60%, 60.8. That's right out of the cask. So it's one of the closest things you can get. It's basically straight out of the barrel, and one of the best offerings in single malt scotch if you like those full, you know, really viscous sherry type of whiskey. So great seeing you guys again. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'll be seeing you soon for some more videos. Bye.